Game 2 tonight on ABC. We're 12 hours and change away as San Antonio seeks to avoid becoming the third team ever to lose the first two games of the finals at home. They would join Phoenix in '93 and the Magic in '95. Neither of those teams would come back and win their respective series. So it's a must-win for San Antonio. Here are Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle yesterday reflecting on Game 1.
We need to approach the game with a better mental state, and we just need to play our game. We just need to be normal. Normal means trusting each other, trusting the basketball gods, trusting the game plan, executing. We've been playing a certain way all season, and we've been successful this way, and there's no reason to change the day the finals start.
I think Vic said it best. I don't think we have anything to be too worried about. I mean, obviously, we feel like we're the better team, and we didn't play well and still had a chance to win. So, if we take one thing from that, just going back to being ourselves and, focusing on the right things.
Very interesting. We got Monica, we got Vincenzo, and we got the Windman first. But Windman, when you were listening to Stephon Castle talking there, what did it make you think of?
Yeah, I understand why the Spurs remain confident. Okay, they're 4-1 after losses in the playoffs. They lost Game 1 of the Minnesota series here in San Antonio and came back to win. But when I hear the Spurs players basically say it's not them, it's us, it takes me back to last year when the Knicks played the Celtics, and it takes me back to last round when the Cavs were saying, analytically we think we're ahead. The Knicks do this to teams. This is what the Knicks do. And look. Last year, when I was in Boston and I watched the Knicks get up 1-0, that's the vibe that I had. I was like, well, this, and this happened. I think the Celtics are still the better team. How many times do the Knicks have to do this to opponents before everybody recognizes this is just what they do? So I get it. The numbers say, the film says that the Spurs should bounce back from this, but I've been here before, and I'm going to respect what I've seen this Knicks team do.
I sort of heard it the same way. Vinny, how about you?
I'm not going to panic if I'm the Spurs. The Spurs aren't the Boston Celtics. The Spurs are definitely not the toothless Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's not go overboard here. They shot 25% from three in Game 1. They're not a great shooting team. If they aren't having an average shooting game, we're talking about a completely different ball game. They led by 15 in the third quarter. They led by 1 with 5 minutes left. I understand that they wound up going into the graveyard of Knicks opponents in this year's playoffs, but you can't overreact to just one game. If they were to panic, then I would say, you know what, this is a young and immature team that doesn't trust what they do, that they don't trust who they are, but I think they have a pretty good feel on who they are and their maturity. You don't beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2 games on the road, including a Game 7, if you don't have a remarkable sense of poise, if you don't have a strong sense of self. So I'm not too worried. I think they should bounce back tonight.
So I hear it. I hear both of you, and I actually agree, if it's possible, to agree with two people who are disagreeing. I agree with both of you. I think, Windy, there has been a tendency on the part of everyone to sell the Knicks short, but I agree with you, Vinny, that if the Spurs were all of a sudden seemingly be thrown into a panic after losing one game, that would probably be more alarming than anything else. Monica, what else? Day off here, and now we go to a critical Game 2 for the Spurs.
Hanging out during media availabilities yesterday, both teams are saying exactly what they're supposed to be saying. Of course, Victor Wembanyama should be assured based on what they've been able to do in this postseason, and Stephon Castle should follow his leader. On the same side, though, I don't think the Knicks exactly felt like they played well either. And so I just look at this one as the chess match continues. I think the Spurs are going to need, I agree with Vinny, to shoot the 3-ball much better. They've got to get their guards downhill, and Victor Wembanyama cannot settle for being a big guard. If he does that, that is exactly the formula that best suits the Knicks, because they are uniquely qualified to defend him with Towns and Robinson compared to teams that he's seen so far. So I think the sound coming out of both camps, respectively, is the nature of a series, which both teams have had to navigate. They've navigated them differently, but it's fine. The Spurs have to make more adjustments tonight, in my mind, than the Knicks do.
So let's start with those. Windman, what adjustments are you expecting from San Antonio?
Well, when they look back at the film, I think I would say they were horrified at their ball movement. The ball just wasn't moving like it normally does. And again, this is what Knicks opponents tend to say. It's not them, it's us. And they could be right, but they're looking at it. They only had 16 assists in this game. And, you know, that is absolutely not what the San Antonio Spurs have been known for either this year or in the history of this organization. The other thing is they did indeed miss shots. In fact, they had their lowest field goal percentage of any game, playoffs or regular season, this whole year in that game. And most of it was in the second half where they only shot 32%, which I think, you know, the Knicks had something to do with. But I think that's what they're going to, I think tonight you're going to see the ball move more into what Monica said. Instead of seeing Victor Wembanyama go straight isolation on Karl Towns on the perimeter like he's Kevin Durant or something, I think you will see the ball move around and get to him in the paint much more often.
And on the other side, I think there was a lot of expectation, Vinny, that we would see Wembanyama guarding Josh Hart, and that's not the way they chose to attack it in Game 1. What do you think will happen tonight?
Josh Hart was surprised about that. He said he went to call a timeout and say, hey, this guy's supposed to be guarding me. So I think even the Knicks were a bit thrown off. I do think that the Knicks, to Monica's point, they can play a lot better as well. Like, they didn't shoot the ball well. They were down 15. Jalen Brunson had a rough night up until the fourth quarter. I don't think they want to get in the habit of putting themselves in a position where Jalen Brunson has to save them with a miraculous fourth quarter. That's not a recipe for consistent success. They've been winning games by blowing teams away. Not to say that you expect to do that every single time, but you can't put yourself down 15 points in the third quarter and expect Victor Wembanyama to go cold and expect De'Aaron Fox to continue to struggle. I would not expect to see how long this leash is on De'Aaron Fox, especially if Mr. Harper is going to continue to play as well as he did in Game 1. I think San Antonio would like to maybe a do-over with that.
Yeah, he had 16 points in that Game 1. Monica, how about it? What will you be watching early tonight to give you a sense of what you expect?
The action on the glass for me, Greeny. I think the game is so tight at this point in the finals, but one of the things you look at is the Knicks actually outscored the Spurs in second chance points 23 to 14. I promise I know those numbers. I think that's something that's a little bit sneaky. This relentless group of guards around Victor Wembanyama, they are outstanding rebounders. It's how they get energizing plays. It's one of the reasons you could feel the momentum early in that ball game. So I'm watching what's happening in the paint for a couple of different things, not just Wembanyama looking to score in the paint.
All the credit in the world, by the way, to these three. They were supposed to be outside doing this today. They were all supposed to go to the set. We got lightning going on. People are scrambling around. They're finding FaceTimes any way they can do it. Outstanding job getting on, and we'll have them all morning long. And we will be joined a little later this morning by the great one, Sir Charles Barkley. Don't miss him live, 9:30 Eastern time this morning with us here on Get Up, talking NBA Finals and a whole lot more. As we continue, it's Cat's Kingdom in New York right now. Is the Knicks championship ultimately going to be decided by Karl Anthony Towns? We'll answer that question. And we got football conversation today. Two things just happened in the NFL that could lead to a Cowboy conundrum involving George Pickens. You'll hear what they are next. We're just rolling on a Friday. It's Get Up on ESPN.